Welcome guys, I hope everything is great with you. In this tutorial we are going to talk about the Python sets, which you may find useful in your practice with Python. So it's very important to know this notion, as it's very similar to some other notions like the list, but there are some other differences so that we are going to address here. So let's talk about it briefly. What's the definition of a set? A set is basically a collection which is unordered and unindexed. So it means there's no particular order in that, and you cannot technically have access to the elements with indexing. Let's set a list like it's like my set, not a list. I'm sorry, it's my set. So my set is, you have to use brackets and just define some sort of elements like hi machine learning. So this is our set, and if we simply go ahead and try to print it, we have, see, it's just a set, so it's just in the brackets, and we simply define that. So what if you want to have access to different elements? As I mentioned, you can have access with indexing because it's technically unordered, but we can simply have access to that with for loops. Like for example, we will have like 4 item in my set equals to print my set. So we define all of it in one line, but there's no difference that we can just, the correct way of doing it is to just have a next line for the things, operation that you want to do in the list. So it's basically the same thing, see? So it just print my set 3 times. So you would tell that it's like we simply print my set 3 times because there are 3 items in the list, in the set. But that wasn't what we wanted to do. We're going to print item, which means each item there. So as you can see, one by one is printing item. If you want to define it and have access to that, we can have a parameters here defined and assigned, but there's no need for doing that when we're working with the lists. And we can have some logical operations. For example, we want to see if something is in the set, like status equal to, for example, we want to check if my name in the set. So it should return false. It's just very simple because we don't know that there is no my name in the set, and just return false. But what if we change this thing with something that we don't know that it's at the list? So we just want to do some sort of searching. So, and yes, it returns true because hi is technically in the list. So the other element is that assuming you want to do some sort of, changing elements in that, again, you can't, because changing elements requires some indexing. You should know that, it's like knowing something that you want to change. But for example, let's just try it in a naive way. Assume we want to do my set high. See, set object is not subscriptable, means we cannot have access to high even by referring. It's not like a dictionary. We will talk about dictionary in the future things. So there's no access like that, but we simply can add things to this set. If it's saying my set add, for example, new element, and if we simply print my set, sorry, I just wrote it wrong. So if we print my set, as you can see, new element has been added to the beginning of the list, and as we can see, it's not really ordered. Things are changed, but the way if we define it here is just change here. And if we print it again, you see it's not like the way that we put things above. And what else is remaining? Let's say we want to merge two lists. and we simply can, or a couple of methods for doing that in the Python. So if I quite remember, it's just we simply can use update to just add two elements, add two lists together, or we can use union to do that. But let's just go with update because it's easier, definitely. So we have myset. Let's say we have another thing we call myset test, and we just have it as add some element with test. And now we have myset here, and we use update with myset test. And if now we print myset, you see the element test is added somewhere, in the set, which we don't have control exactly over it. And you may wonder that why such an unordered things may be useful to us, and when we technically is going to use such kind of definitions. There are a lot of scenarios that you really don't need any kind of indexing. So for example, you just have different kind of names, and all you care is that you just simply need to find something if it's there, or you just need to check, or as I mentioned, update. So, and the update really exclude the duplicates. For example, if we defined my test not as this, if we define my test as test and high, we do have high up there. Let's just update my set again and print it. As you can see, nothing much changed because the test and high are already in my set as we have that. So it's just update the elements. So here's where we just want to in some application, as I mentioned, you simply want to have something unordered and you care about only the unique names, and set is a pretty easy way to do it. But what if we want to delete some specific things? We mentioned that we cannot really have access to elements of the set, but it's not quite true. Let's use the remove. So assuming we use the remove, I want to remove something that we don't know is there in the list. I'm sorry, I'm using list by wrong. It's a set. So let's say print my set. As you can see, high is omitted there, and if we do it again, it says high is not in the list. See, so because it's been removed. So an important method that you really need. So that was pretty much the most important things about the sets and defining it. So there are certainly many different methods for sets, like clear, copy, difference, discord, and many different things. So, and they are not really necessary to just be addressed here. I put some links in the subscription for your further information if you are interested to know more about the particular methods that you are using this set, and you may find them useful in your particular application. So that was our tutorial in introducing the sets, and we show you some sort of most common methods in set. We define what is a set and how we can define it. I hope you found it useful. Make sure to ask your questions if you have any, or if you find any part of this tutorial to be confusing or need more elaboration. I will be happy to address everything in the comments there, and feel free to subscribe if you wanted to stay tuned for future videos. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a great day.